Why Drake's Iceman is now considered as a classic album. When Drake announced Iceman, nobody was expecting a return. After dropping a collaborative project with Party Next Door, most assumed he'd either coast or innovate. What he delivered instead was something rarer, a project that sounds both nostalgic and urgent at the exact same time. It's an album that feels like it could have existed in 2015, yet it needed to exist in 2026. This is the paradox of Iceman, and why it's already being treated as a classic while still feeling impossibly fresh. Here's what Iceman is, first and foremost, a reset, not a reinvention. Drake spent 2024 and most of 2025 in other people's lanes. Collaborative albums, guest features, the kind of work that keeps you relevant but doesn't define you. With Iceman, he went back to the original blueprint. Introspective, production-heavy, lyrically personal in that distinctly Drake way. That's the classic part. The album was recorded across 2024 to 2026, with producers including Conductor Williams, DJ Frisco, 954, Tay Keith, and others. A roster that feels both heritage and contemporary. It's the sound of Drake saying, "I remember what I'm supposed to do here," and audiences recognized it immediately. Classic doesn't mean old. Sometimes classic means coming home. But then there's the elephant in the room, the state of hip-hop in May 2026. Make Them Pay is a diss track towards Kendrick Lamar, and it's not the only moment where Drake addresses the shifting landscape of rap hierarchies. Drake seemed to address J. Cole exiting the Kendrick Lamar feud on the album, essentially stepping into a conversation that only makes sense right now. That's the new part. You can hear the temperature of hip-hop in 2026 all over this album. It's responding to things that didn't exist 3 years ago. The production choices, the features, the subject matter. It's urgent. It's contemporary. Yet the structure, the approach, the philosophy of the album feels timeless. Here's where it gets interesting. Janice STFU debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, breaking Michael Jackson's record for most U.S. #1s by a male artist since the chart's 1958 inception. That's not just a hit. That's a legacy moment. And it happened instantly, May 2026. The album didn't need time to mature or grow its reputation. It arrived as a classic, but it also arrived as something dangerous, something willing to engage with real beef, real stakes. That's not typical classic energy. That's current. If you listen closely to Iceman's sonics, you hear both Drake's DNA and something intentionally new. The beats are cleaner than his 2023 work, but they reference his 2015 to 2016 era. There's a deliberateness to it. Tracks like National Treasures and others showcase the range of producers involved. It's not a monolithic sound, but it feels cohesive in a way that suggests Drake knew exactly what he was building. That cohesion is key. Classic albums have vision. New albums have urgency. Iceman has both simultaneously. Every production choice serves the thesis. We're in a moment where the old rules still apply, but the game has shifted. So why does Iceman land as classic yet new? Because it's Drake making a statement about where he stands, not where he's been. It's an album about settling scores, about understanding your place in a changing hip-hop landscape, about the cost of longevity in a genre that worships youth. That's not backward-looking. That's not forward-looking either. That's present tense in a way that only becomes classic with time. Iceman is the sound of someone who knows his legacy and isn't afraid to defend it. Not with nostalgia, but with relevance. Iceman works because it doesn't try to be new. It doesn't try to be classic. It just is. A perfect snapshot of where Drake stands in May 2026, wrapped in production that could belong to any era, addressing conflicts that only exist right now. That's the definition of something that ages the moment it arrives. The album is classic because it's Drake doing Drake at his most confident. It's new because the world around it has changed. And that collision is what makes it essential listening. Not in retrospect, but right now.